Welcome to the AI Corner. I'm your host, Mike Bailey, here to spotlight the people shaping New Zealand's AI future. In today's episode, we're speaking with Nikolas Hardwick. Nicholas is an 18-year-old Kiwi founder who started his first company at 16 and now leads Quailer.io, an AI-driven software and IoT startup. He blends custom AI solutions and automation with physical tech to solve real-world business problems, all while studying at university. Welcome to the pod, Nick.
Thank you, Mike. I'm so happy to be here. I saw your message and I said, yeah, let's do it.
Good man, appreciate it. Before we talk about Quailer, do you want to tell us about your journey into the world of AI?
Oh, AI in specific. Yeah, sure, man. I think it all started maybe back in the day when, before I started Quailer, I would notice how the NPCs in games work. And I was like, what's that? And you do a quick Google search and you find out that it's this thing called AI, artificial intelligence. But everyone always thought that AI was this, future computer that would be able to think and talk like a human. Well, look what's happened. Look what's happened. That's where we're at. No. So that was kind of, you could say, my first look into it. When did I start actually doing it and studying it at uni? Well, probably the beginning of this year, right? But that obviously came with those first, maybe year that we've had proper good generative AI for and LLMs. ChatGPT coming out kind of shocked everyone and kind of changed up the way that everything works. And when that came out, I was kind of early into my business ventures and I knew that I had to get on top of it.
Good stuff. I love it. And you've been an entrepreneur kind of from day one. Do you want to take us back a step and tell us about some of the organizations that you've started and the businesses you've run?
Yeah. So let's go back, shall we? I don't know if you guys check out my LinkedIn. I have this funny old story where my mother made me sell my books on the side of the road because I was a bookworm. I just read all those books. I read everything, and I love books. Got plenty on this shelf over here. This one over there. There's some more books up there. All my readings. Got classic ones. We got 138 Dates Inspired, Atomic Habits, everything. I still read. But back then I was a kid and I wanted more books and I didn't have any money. And so my mom encouraged me to get a little picnic table set up outside our house and start trying to shill them for £1 each because I grew up in the UK. So I tried to shill them out in the street and I would sell to anyone that walked past. I'd say books, £1, £1 books, and I sold all of them that one day. I was there from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. A proper good 9 to 5, a good work day. I was there, 6-year-old me on the side of the road. It was awesome. And that was my first experience, you could say. Fast forward a couple years later, me and my now co-founder, Avanish Dash, we're running a Discord server because we love gaming. Because, I'm 14, I love gaming. I'm 15, I love gaming. I'm gaming on my laptop. We started this Discord server, which grew to 6,000 members. But just because we organically grew it, we marketed it, we hired people to help out with the server. And then me and him kind of thought to ourselves and said, why are we doing all this effort for a Discord server? That doesn't really make us money. Let's start a business instead. And so that's when we founded our first company.
Awesome.
I can go into the companies real quick, or shall we move on?
Yeah, give us a quick spotlight of the companies you've run.
All right, so first one, by the way, guys, you'll not find anything of this online unless you use the Wayback Machine. The first one was called Be Better, which was a drop shipping store. Which, as you can guess, absolutely failed completely. Dead. Which was a good learning experience. You know what they say. It was probably pretty pivotal in where I am now. So that was cool. Wasted a couple $100 on that. So Be Better. And then the next one was BrandLaunch. Now, the keen-eyed viewers, I don't know if you've seen it, Mike, but we're actually registered as BrandLaunch if you go on our website, because that was the real company that we started. And BrandLaunch was trying to be this everything store where we'd, do use all of our skills and try and sell it all. And that also didn't work. That was a failure. So that was our second company, because it turns out your customers don't really want someone who claims to be really good at everything. They want a specialist. And so we took what we were good at from BrandLaunch, what sold, which was website development. And then we kind of went into that with Quailer, a new rebrand, a trading name, you could say, under BrandLaunch, which was my third business, let's say. Technically the same one, but who's counting, right? And we started Quailer. We did only web dev, and that worked. That worked really well. Quailer's still running, so Quailer worked. Yeah, and we just did more and more, and then we expanded into software, and now recently we're expanding into AI. So what would you know?
Awesome. Before we dive into AI, you've got a pretty interesting story about the way that the customers you're serving and how you're servicing them, right? You've kind of flipped the model on its head. Do you want to tell the listeners about that?
Flip the model on its head. What do you mean?
A lot of New Zealand companies will look to Asia for their service delivery of developers, etc. You've gone the other way, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. See, you are right. A lot of companies would love to outsource to India, to Pakistan, to Malaysia, to Vietnam, to Indonesia. Whereas I'm kind of in India right now. So, as you guys know, my co-founder Avanish Dash, he's Indian. He lives in Bengaluru, India, in Karnataka. So, it's important for me to understand India and its markets and how its currency works. What's a lakh? What's a crore? The Indian viewers will like this. They'll be smiling right now. Yeah, I had to learn that. It was really, really complicated. I had to learn all the regions as well. Big place, really big country, India. And so we kind of just started operating in India. We started hiring. We got 2 guys in India and Avanish, obviously. And now, we're operating in India. We're selling to Indian companies. We have Indian clients and they pay really well. You'd think that they'd pay less than New Zealanders? No, no, sometimes they pay more. And we're hiring in New Zealand as well because I really believe in uni culture, and I'm trying to make Quailer a uni bred company. And I think university where I am at right now, Victoria University in Wellington, is where our focus is. And I'm hiring there, and we're getting interns, and it's going great.
Amazing. Awesome stuff, mate. And tell us more about the pivot from your business. You're moving into the AI space and what you're doing in that area.
Yeah, great question. So AI is obviously something that I've really wanted to get into. Chatting with my mentors, even with JD, he's like, "Come on, Nicholas, I want you to get into AI. Get into AI, Nicholas. Get it. You know AI." He told me, "Nicholas, you know AI. You know it better than 80% of the companies that work around it. What does an industrial company owner know about AI? He probably doesn't care." But he's missing out on something there. And we all know what AI can do. I don't need to tell you, Mike. That's for sure. And just being able to help these companies out and use what we've learned on AI, and now we're developing new AI tools with gaps in the market that we've found, because this is still a new area. All I'm doing is taking an opportunity which I see is fit. I wouldn't say I'm doing something majorly special at all. Maybe in the way that I operate and do it is special or cool or unique. But I think what I'm getting into is I'm trying to get into this new market and exploit it and grow my company as any good founder businessman would. Right?
That's awesome. Are you focused on a particular vertical at all? Like, where are you seeing the most opportunity for building these AI solutions?
Currently, we're kind of in that question right now at Quailer. There's a lot of different ways we want to go. There's a lot of different niches and different markets that we want to target. Right now, like today is the end of our research period. So we've just come out of an intensive, like 3 to 4 week research period. All of the interns, me and Avanish, we've been researching, speaking to people, inviting people out. I'm still speaking to people. Some of my friends, some of my clients will, probably watch this and be, yeah, he talked to me about this. We're trying to understand everything that people know about AI. We've been doing this 7 days a week. We've been really going hard. And now I think in the next week or so, Quailer's going to pick that vertical. I couldn't tell you now, Mike, probably not the best answer to your question, but we're going into that. Currently, we have a couple things in mind. We're going to do generalist stuff. We're going to do consulting. We're going to do AI capable computers. We want to start building server racks so that companies can host local AI with cybersecurity benefits, because we're also getting into cybersecurity, another niche that we've gotten into with our friends at Vic Uni. We've met some amazing PhDs, some amazing researchers, and some great students into cybersecurity that we want to bring some cybersecurity stuff here into my Wellington market and then into India. Obviously, there's a lot of other companies doing cybersecurity, but we've never had trouble getting in between the cracks and finding lucrative deals. So there you go. Yeah.
On you. Maybe we'll touch on the IoT AI space in a second. But so are you looking to kind of build with your existing client base or in India, or would you look to basically go into a brand new space? You wouldn't do consulting, you might do product development as well. Like, do you kind of have a gauge on where that might head?
So right now we are looking for the first time ever, big leak actually for Quailer. We are looking to make a product. We are going from a services company into a product company because services are cool and they're great and they make you money. But you know what? We want something scalable. As a business, the best way to get profit is to make that awesome product. And we didn't run into making a product because I personally, is my belief, I think a lot of people run into building products and get caught up in that product development lifecycle, and they don't have the money to sustain it. So they go to VCs or they go to someone else, right? Too much. I have tried to just get cash flow, like lots of cash, in my bank account, in the company bank account, so we can spend now. We can finally develop this product after 2.5 years, 3 years of running Quailer.
That's awesome, man. Well done. And I suppose, you're a fairly kind of young entrepreneur. Like, when did you know that you weren't going to call it the traditional path that most kids take when they're at high school?
Man, I think I first kind of realized this when I was in school in the UK and then came here, and I realized that I hate academics. I can't study, right? Unless it's something that I care about. For example, my grades now in uni that I do a course that I really love and care about. I'm doing Bachelor of Commerce, majoring international business marketing, minoring innovation AI. So big degree, cool one. But this is an area that I have so much love and passion for. I get A's. I get A's on everything. I get 198, 99. That's my grades. But for other things like math, calculus, stats, I just don't. I just do not care. I don't care about studying. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy up in the head. Who isn't? But that was the first reason I realized I need to make money doing something else. What do I really love? Running a company. So let's just start a company. That was the idea.
That's awesome. I suppose, what could you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from running companies at such a young age?
The biggest lesson I learned, and this could be very interesting actually, because it's coming from me, is I think imposter syndrome, which a lot of people get, especially if they were like 16-year-old me going to, Wellington events for the first time, representing Quailer, like thinking that everyone would make fun of me and not take me seriously. No. Everyone took me seriously. Why? Because I walk the walk and I talk the talk. If you can walk the walk and talk the talk and deliver on those promises, then everyone will take you seriously, no matter if you're 9 years old or 56 years old. It does not matter. And I think that was a really cool lesson I learned. I came in so scared. And after, being there for a couple months, it was gone. Everyone knew me. It's great.
Yeah, it sounds like you learned pretty quickly. I suppose, switching gears for a second here, you're hiring new students, you're a young guy, and you probably work with companies where you're selling into even boomers, Gen X, millennial, like some older folks.
All the time. Yeah.
What have you learned? What do you see when it comes to AI in particular? And what do you see when you talk to people in India compared to New Zealand and their perspectives on AI, the generational and also the geographical differences?
Amazing question, Mike. Geez, you're on a roll, brother. Let's talk about generational first, and then we'll get into geographical. So geographical is a whole different thing. Generational, a lot of people in the older generations do not care. Even if you're someone watching this and you're like, but I care, I'm into it. You are. A lot of the older generations are not. They don't care, or they don't want to know, or they just simply don't do enough research, or they don't understand. It's normal. My parents have no idea how to use generative AI properly or correct it, You try to explain to them, oh, but see, you can run Olama on device. No. Don't bother, right? A lot of them think that they don't need it, and a lot of them don't need it. Realistically, a lot of them have worked just fine their entire life using this. Why should they get on? It's a valid point, but I want to get in here and show these businesses, why it matters. I'm developing frameworks. I'm developing PowerPoint slides. Loads of PowerPoint slides that I can give them whilst I explain to them in their office when we come over to do consulting. After we've done all the changes and integrated everything and trained their employees, I'm going to give them that cool slideshow I've been developing, and explain to them, why does this matter? Where can you use it? How can it make you more money? Because at the end of the day, my company is in the business of making other companies more money. That's what we do. And I'm in the business of making me more money, right? Who isn't? Obviously, sustainable stuff, donating to charity, I love that as well. But the main cause is to generate that growth and keep on going, elevate the Wellington tech sector. I think it's beautiful. I think it's super cool and innovative. Let's keep going. Now, geographical. Geographical is very interesting. They'll teach you about this in marketing as well. Different cultures, different people have way different opinions. In India, people care about AI a lot more. And I know that might sound very crazy. I know you may think, oh, but we're a Western country. We have a lot of innovation in AI. No. Compared to India, New Zealand? No, don't make me laugh. No way. They have a lot more AI research. They have a lot more AI degrees that you can get. Vic Uni has just made AI ML a class recently, right? They just separated AI from like a different bachelor that it wasn't even associated with. Now it's a BTech, right? Now it's technology. Now it's under, it used to be under CS. It used to be under computer science. No, these are two different things, machine learning and computer science. Yeah. And, you think about this, we're just catching up. And that's why I want to be this player in this game who can help accelerate this. That's why I see this opportunity in New Zealand and elsewhere. In India, we will have more competition. That's for sure. But India is a bigger pond. There might be more fish, but the pond's bigger, right? New Zealand, it's a small pond and there's small fish. There's some other people. I know some people who are doing AI. You see, I don't want to compete with these people. I don't think New Zealand companies really compete with each other that much anyways. I tend to find that there's a lot of collaboration. And I'm down for that. If you're interested, hit me up, guys. My LinkedIn's open. Shameless plug. Sorry about that.
Man, no, go for it. You mentioned the generational gap. I assume you were talking more about New Zealand, right? Like people, parents' age, etc., probably a little less willing to adopt and use AI. But you mentioned that in India, as a culture, they're much more forward thinking. Do you find that generational gap exists in India, or do you find that the older generations are more open to AI and more up with the play over there than, say, Kiwis?
The generational gap still exists. It's just less pronounced. And this is just what I've identified in India from what I've been told and what I've seen and who I've spoken to, namely my clients. My clients are asking me, how can we integrate AI in this for software development or web development or current services that Quailer provides before our, now that, should I say, before our rephrase comes in, in the next week or two, right? This is all stuff that I've noticed. If you ask my co-founder, Evanish, he'd probably tell you the exact same thing. And, I'm also basing my knowledge on what he's told me, as he is my man on the ground in India. I'm here in New Zealand. I'm in Wellington right now, and I go to uni here. So I'm not boots on the ground in India all the time.
True. And I suppose pivoting, just thinking about the university and what you're doing and seeing and so forth, how is the university fostering kind of the development of AI capabilities? You mentioned they've got a new course, but what else are they doing? Are they creating connections in the market? Is there funding that's being made of it? Like, what sort of support are they providing people like yourself?
So people like myself, and a huge one, a massive one, is the Atom. You know what that is in Pipitia campus? So the Atom is this space that is dedicated for anyone who wants to get work done or to collaborate and do innovation. So it's for the innovation and entrepreneurship community within Vic, mainly in the Wellington School of Business and Government, the WSBAG, which is awesome. And anyone can go there. And so now Quailer has used the Atom, this lovely area with loads of tables and screens and whiteboards, and people come in and put their stuff in a storage closet and label it with what company owns it, that sort of thing. It's free to use. And innovation really comes along quite a lot. And I love that it's so present at Vic. The researchers really encourage you, for all my assignments that I've been doing, like for BCom and whatnot, I've written them about my company. One of them is like, use AI to break down a company's selling of X period, right? That's a real assignment, by the way. I've got another one from Management 102, where it's like, use an AI model to do a SWOT analysis on a company. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was incredible. And, this is just in my research, and this is in my non-AI courses. On the AI courses, it's crazy the way that they get you involved in there. Also, for example, BCom 101 is an AI-enabled course. You're allowed to use AI when you do your schoolwork. Some people would hate the thought of that. For example, my management lecturer just will not allow that, right? Sorry, not management, marketing. My marketing 101 course has a no AI policy, meaning you're not allowed to use AI. You cannot use it at all. Whereas in BCom 101, you're allowed to use AI, and they ask you to list the prompts that you used and the AI model that you used. And so it opens up those doors. Maybe that's a good example.
That's really interesting to hear that certain papers within the same kind of commerce space are letting you use AI and others aren't. Do they try and encourage, or do they actively encourage, the human in the loop type concept? Like, they're enabling you to use the tools, which is great, but they also want you to think critically and use your judgment as much as possible, I'm assuming. How do they test that more whilst enabling people to use the tools that are available nowadays?
It's really cool. I mean, I think they do it on a trust model, right? Let's be real. I could say that I haven't used AI and generate my entire essay with AI at uni, right? But I think as uni students, we're paying to be there. I'm paying to learn, right? It's not school. I'm not being forced to do this. I can not do the assignment and waste my money, right? So can everyone else. And I think the way that they ask you to document what prompts you used, document, how did you talk to the AI? What was the response that AI gives? Was the response accurate? Did you find any hallucinations? Did you find any misarticulations? Did you find any spelling mistakes? That sort of thing. I really encourage that. And I think that's great on some of our lecturers and some of our schools here.
I think that's awesome. As you say, people need to take accountability for their own development, right? And, you would hope that most uni students in there are going to do that. Of course, there will be some who will take shortcuts and will copy paste out of ChatGPT, and I'm sure they'll get found out or they'll get marked down pretty quick. And
They just won't get the best grades at the end of the day. They don't make a dean's list, Yeah.
That's exactly it, right? Like you got to take accountability and ownership for the outputs of this stuff. I suppose if you were to flipping the microphone, so to speak, if you were to improve or change the education system at university, like how would you consider changing it when it comes to teaching AI? Like what else do you think they could do better from what you're saying?
I think depending on the course, they should allow or not allow AI. Like, I do think that some courses shouldn't have AI. I don't see a reason why marketing shouldn't have AI. For example, my marketing 101 class, obviously I'm going to respect the rule and not use it as I have, but I feel like that puts that class behind. It puts that class behind when they could have elevated it further. Some courses should not have AI use, things like law, maybe. Then they don't allow AI at all. Law. I have friends in law. I have, interns in law. It's cool. They don't allow AI whatsoever. And I feel like they need to decide very carefully what course will use it, what paper will use it, and decide how can we teach it in class. In BCom 101, we actually had AI teaching in class, in the lecture, in one of our lectures in week 10 or whatever, week 6 probably, actually, thinking about it. We had a lecture where they talked about AI, and they brought in a panel discussion, which I think was really cool. I think Dr. Adrian Slack's way of putting BCom 101 was really unique and novel, and I really like the lectorials, the mixture of the lecture and the tutorial, where everyone does Miro boards and stuff like that. I thought that was awesome, and I think we need to follow more of that.
Awesome. Yeah, as you say, I think there's a combination of AI teaching, AI being a part of how you learn sometimes without AI in its totality. I think there's a really important to have a mix of that kind of stuff coming through, isn't there? And you mentioned AI and IoT, the kind of overlap between those two topics. Do you want to tell us about that intersection and what you're going after?
Yeah, so I really like IoT. I think IoT is really cool, and there's some amazing use cases, right?
You just want to explain to the audience what IoT is for those that aren't familiar.
Sure. So IoT stands for Internet of Things. That means that everything that you like can be connected to the internet and can be controlled. It's kind of how, would you say it's a philosophy, Mike? I'd say it's kind of a philosophy in a way. A lot of people have the smart houses, right? Where, for example, I bought 2 light bulbs from PB Tech, which connect to my phone on this cool little app. I'm going to bring it up now, called Laser Smart Home. There's also Zigbee. There's also all sorts of IoT devices. I've kind of educated myself on as many as I could. This right here, I can control my lights in my living room. So I can set them to all red, where suddenly the room is bathed in a dark, deep red. If if it's late at night and I'm working or I'm just chilling on my couch and I don't want to, remove all of that melatonin that's come up in my brain by shining bright white light at me from what my lights would usually put on, I would put it on the red mode. That's one thing I can do. Another thing I can do is make the lights turn on when I get home and the time is after 9 p.m. That's another great automation you can set. This is what you can do with IoT. But this is just home stuff. Another example of what you can do with IoT is one of my clients, QSpace, a flexible workspace and serviced office in Lower Hutt. Great company. Love working with them. Check out their website, qspace.co.nz. We made it. Not flexing. We had to, with them, they have this system where your phone is your key. There's no key card. There's no NFC tag like you would usually have in your office. Your phone. And everything inside the office is geofenced. So geofencing, for the audience that doesn't know, is when it's like having a specific area within a room which allows you to use Internet of Things devices, should I say, or connect to the network. So for example, if I made it that my lights in my living room only were accessible when I was using my phone in my living room. So for example, let's get in the elevator at QSpace. How do I go up? I have to tap my phone on a little reader, but I don't have to tap my phone. I can be anywhere in the elevator and the elevator will automatically unlock and allow me to travel to the 2 different floors. Another thing, if I want to sign in or if I want to access a meeting room, I can tap my phone to open the meeting room. Once I'm inside the meeting room, I can lock the door using my phone from anywhere in the meeting room. I don't need to tap it, right? It doesn't connect via Bluetooth. It doesn't do all that. It's just within the geofence of the meeting room, which is within the geofence of the office queue space.
Awesome.
That's a commercial application, could you say? And I want to mix in AI with that. I want to do some cool things.
That's awesome. Have you got any pilot projects or ideas that you're seeing, or is it too early to say?
The only problem is you've called me 2 weeks too early, Mike. I couldn't really reveal. Or I could. I could tell you about the 20-something different things that we've been considering and researching and doing market evaluation, all that nonsense for. But I probably won't, not yet.
No, keep the secrets to yourself.
For now.
For now. And I suppose just before we jump into a quick fire round, I suppose, as I say, you're a young guy, you've got a pretty long career ahead of yourself and some pretty ambitious projects in the pipeline. Like, do you have a legacy that you want to leave behind in the New Zealand tech scene?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? What would that legacy be in your mind? Like, where is the impact you want to have?
I have always said that I want to be the face of young entrepreneurship in New Zealand. I really think that I want to represent that. From my story of being a Hutt Valley High schooler in year 12, skipping class so I can go to the Wellington Growth Jam, right, and meet Serge for the first time. People know me because of this already. I'm quite well known. A lot of people watching might already know me, or they might not. Hi guys, if you don't, I'm Nick. I want to be known as some crazy, kid who started doing this for the love of it and because I want to be something great, right? I'm not in this for the sentiment. Maybe I am in it for the sentimental value, actually. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe that was an inaccuracy. But I'm in this to leave a legacy. I'm in this to grow a company, a big company, a profitable one.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to watching your journey as it goes on. I suppose just before we go, do you mind doing a quick 5-question quick fire round?
Go, hit me.
Awesome. All right. ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini?
I'm a Claude man, but recently Gemini has done some really cool stuff. I used to hate on Gemini. I was Gemini's biggest hater, but now I kind of like it. So I'd say maybe Gemini. I need to check it out more, though. I've been kind of researching in that area.
Good stuff. Most overhyped AI trend right now?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many, man. I think Notion AI, hardly use it. Only use it for formatting pages. I think ChatGPT poems and stories, but I wouldn't really say that's viral. What's viral that sucks right now? There's a couple of things. Yeah.
I feel like with the Notion AI piece, it's kind of like old technology that's bolted on AI that doesn't really quite work yet.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Open source models or closed proprietary AI models?
Open source, any day of the week. We're software devs. We like open source. Open source. I want to see what's going on. I want to replicate it. I want to run it on device. I bought this new computer, this Mac, just so I could run AI on device, bro. That's the only reason.
Good stuff. Another New Zealand company quietly doing some pretty epic stuff with AI that not many people might have heard of.
There's a couple. Alicat AI is very cool. That's UC's company. Hi, UC. He'll be watching this. There's a couple more. There's what's some good ones that have been using AI. That Indus is very cool. I don't know how much AI they're using. They're using something. What's another one? Sharesies? What's Sharesies? No, not Sharesies. It was another one. It was a Creative HQ cohort company. I'm trying to remember what it was. They came recently out of the FinTech Accelerator.
Oh, nice.
You see the drip, bro? Have you noticed? I'm currently repping the CHQ. Love those guys. They love me. I'm like their kid. It's awesome.
Good man. Awesome. Good
recommendation. Sorry, that quick fire question stumped me.
All good. And then your last question. What's your number one recommendation for people to get started with AI who aren't using it today?
YouTube, free online courses. Go for it. Search up AI course free on Google and you'll find it. MIT does awesome free courses online. TEDx does awesome free stuff online. YouTube, so much stuff on YouTube. You can watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of video. Learn how LLMs work. Learn how generative AI works. Learn how AI training is done. You won't understand it. No one really understands it, not even the PhDs. So trust me. But you'll learn something.
To start somewhere. Awesome. Thank you to Nick for joining us today. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel for weekly episodes and to hear more from the people building New Zealand's AI future. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to the AI Corner.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Mike.